Welcome, Sabrina. I am so excited to have you here. I am such a fan of yours, and I'm so excited to dive into your birth chart. But before we do, tell me a little bit about your relationship with astrology.
Ooh, great question. My mom is big in astrology. She loves her tarot cards. I have a tarot card tattoo.
Oh my gosh, let me see.
Oh, I can't. I would be showing it off, but I'll show you after. It was my first tattoo. And
no way.
I just
Wait, what tarot card is it?
Strength.
So cool.
That's what
Leo moon. Oh my God.
I just resonated. It was something my sister and I got together because it reminded us of our mom.
Aww.
And it's just, I've always grown up knowing that this existed, but it doesn't mean I have to identify with anything, which is what I really loved. And I use astrology as a yes and, right? Like it doesn't dictate my life, but it's a part of my life, like so many other things.
I love that. It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's all tools, and it's fun, and it's cosmic guidance.
100%. I think where I start to see the pendulum swing, of course, like dating, relationship coach. I talk to people every day. I love to use it to learn about ourselves, like attachment styles, like anything else, empower you. But when we start to do like, I don't date Capricorns,
totally.
It's like, ugh.
No, I agree with you completely. I mean, we can make those jokes. I get that there's like the fun part of astrology that's like that, but I believe that we're all compatible. I think everybody's compatible. We can obviously vibe with energies better than others, but it's all about learning how to connect to one another and how we can connect to ourselves. So that's the key. But at the end of the day, astrology should connect all of us. So that's not the part of astrology that I like to focus on.
No, because there's 12 signs and 9 billion people. Right. There's a ratio.
Thank you. Math. Yes. Okay. So I know that you've already had your birth chart read. I'm not going to go over then all the basics with you. I think let's do your big three.
Okay.
Let's do a little
okay,
brush up on it. But I've been studying your birth chart and I am really excited. And let me just start by saying you're in the perfect career. Yay. I'm so proud of you. Are you from LA?
No, I'm from Florida originally, moved to New York.
Okay, yeah, that's what I knew. It was somewhere East Coasty. Let's start with the sun. Okay, that's of course it's where we shine. It's where we feel our best. It's where we feel happiest. And you're a Taurus sun. You get to have nice things in life. Taurus is ruled by Venus. It is the planet that loves nice things. It's the planet that's here to spoil us. And it is all about the finer things in life. The part of the chart that's the most spiritual, it's the 12th house. And the 12th house, it's my favorite house. I said it. It is not the easiest. It is the house it's where we leave the physical world and we are going to nirvana, outer space, the universe, whatever you want to call it. It's not real. It's make-believe, it's dreams, it's our mind. I think this is absolutely too why you're pulled to psychology and understanding why people are the way they are. The moon is how we relate. It's our emotions. And the 12th house, it's all about empathy and understanding people. But it is not a walk in the park placement. The moon is already heavy. It's already emotional. And then the 12th house is like the ocean. It's vast. We can drown. We can swim. We do both usually. We try to swim more than we drown, but it's lessons and we're working on that. And the moon in the 12th, so creative, so magical, truly psychic abilities, intuition is heightened. These are the gifts and the magic of the 12th house. It is the most powerful house. But if we ignore the 12th house, that is when it can get a little chaotic. The 12th house rules things like mental health institutions and prisons and, things like that aren't fun. We don't want to go there. So to make sure we don't go there, we have to have a spiritual relationship. We have hygiene, basically. So I'm not surprised you're pulled to things like this. Not surprised that you're, interested in psychology and relationships. I have a lot of planets in the 12th house too. And so usually people with placements there, they're going a little deeper. There's more. We have to go below the surface a little bit, but it's magical. Always trust your intuition. You're a Virgo rising.
Yes. Oh, right. We didn't talk about that.
So the rising sign is that's your motivation for living. It's the first energy you've ever met. It's actually the last energy you'll ever know. So think of your Virgo rising as that's what's waking you up in the morning and pulling you out the door. Virgo is a helper. Every zodiac sign has a role, There's so much to each sign, but simply put, Virgo is a helper. So they're here to help. Yes, they're perfectionists, and yes, they can be type A, but if you don't want their help, don't ask, or you don't need to take it, but their job is to literally help. So the moment you were born, you were helping and hard on yourself. There's a lot of pressure we put on ourselves with earth energy, especially if it's our rising sign, but hard work, discipline, you've been taking care of even yourself from a really early age. So you know how to take care of people. But for Virgo risings, it's always totally the like fill your cup first, because that's the lesson with Virgo risings. So in astrology, the 7th house, that's the house that represents relationships and love, and and marriage. Traditionally speaking, that house is very literally like marriage and unionship and contracts. In more modern astrology, we can actually see business partners and just people that we are going into contracts with, people we see on the day-to-day, but usually intimacy and relationships. You have Venus here.
I thought so.
Lovely. Yeah. Literally lovely. It's actually the first thing I noticed when I looked at your chart. I was like, that makes so much sense. Of course, she has like a dating podcast. She's a Virgo rising, ruled by Mercury. Mercury's ruling your chart. Venus in the 7th. It all makes sense. But then you have Mars. But I like it. Mars is, by the way, the planet of, I call Mars the problematic child planet.
That adds up.
He's busy. He if we aren't paying attention to Mars, he's like coloring on the walls and he's making a mess. But if we pay attention to Mars, he gets shit done, and he's really helpful and he's really great. But Mars is combative and it can be angry, but he's our energy, literally. So when Mars is in the 7th, this can show up as fighting. Lots of energy, but it can also show up as passionate, sex. So I think usually we see like all range of that with Mars in the 7th, but even the way that you're like vulnerable and open, and like if Mars wasn't there, you wouldn't probably be doing this, because Venus would be there. And guess what? It would be such a simple, easy area that you wouldn't even have to really think about it. But because you have Mars there, you're like, wait, Venus overall, she's beautiful. So she's like, I'm always going to find harmony. We're always going to find resolve. I'm learning. But Mars is there to keep things spicy and interesting. And I just love that dynamic, because you're obviously doing like, also the fact that he works with you is great, because that's always my advice. If there's ever a lot of energy in the 7th house, when you find your cosmic +1, you have to work together, because there's a lot of energy in your 7th house, which means that's going to be a huge focus in the grand scheme of your life. And you got to pay attention to it. And so working together, traveling together, having plans together, like just getting excited to do stuff together, trying new hobbies, making new friends together. Like, yeah, that's the 7th house.
A lot of people, they think inner child work is woo-woo and ridiculous, right?
That's
it's
crazy.
Like,
yeah.
But to me, it saved my life.
Yeah.
So,
and if you don't ever have to turn to it, then lucky you. My God.
Yeah. Oh, you had 2 parents that loved you and were consistent. Wow, that sounds like a luxury.
Totally. Also, you have Venus in Pisces, by the way, which is exalted. If Venus could pick any zodiac sign to hang out with, she picks Pisces. Ooh. They're besties. Oh. It's just a really lovely placement. And so even in a sense of, again, the fact that you personally are so lovable, you're such a lover that you can attract so much love in your lifetime. Like, it's actually, I know it might not feel like it, but it's on tap for you. Like, so many people want to love you. And having Mars there is just so much energy. So there's a focus on, who gets this attention. Pisces is boundaries too, and learning to set boundaries, and
came later in life.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. So my past 2 serious boyfriends have had alcohol issues. And it made me, after this past relationship, I'm like going through a breakup right now, and I'm like sitting with myself and I'm like, okay, why am I attracting the same partner? And I was talking to my therapist. My dad, by the way, died when I was 11 from alcohol related things. And I would never have connected this, but she was like, you're trying to save your dad. Yeah. So that just did something to me. And I was like, holy shit, I haven't drank since the breakup, because I was like, I need to, process things in a healthy way. And like, how is that? Like, that's my projection or something. I don't know. But it's wild.
It's called repetition compulsion. So it's a term that, Freud did a couple of things outside of telling people that boys want to have sex with their mother, right? But the other stuff he said was essentially, you're going to keep dating the parts of you that need to be healed. And so you're going to keep dating the versions of yourself, right? So if your father had alcoholism, so then right now it's, how can I fix? How can I heal? How can I save, right? That's familiar. That's a pattern. And that's how it's going to replay until you break the pattern and say, this doesn't work for me anymore. Me trying to save them doesn't change the fact that I couldn't save my dad. Yeah. And it's grieving that and sitting with that and allowing that little you to be like, that's not our job.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah.